So Hulu is about to release a documentary about the 1994 Freaknik. Now, this Freaknik would happen in Atlanta in the 90s. Actually, some of it started even in the 80s, but it ended more so toward the end of the 90s. It was shut down by the city of Atlanta. Now, people would actually go to Atlanta for Freaknik, and that's just really what it was. You know, regular people coming out, going to this event. Eventually down the line, it got pretty wild. You know, a lot of people came out just doing some things they should not have been doing. But there are people that is really worried about this particular documentary coming out, because they're worried about they may come out on this documentary. Now, case in point, you got this one sister on TikTok that her video has been going around a lot. I want you to hear this, quick clip from this one sister.
Y'all, I don't know. We might be in trouble. Did y'all see Hulu is about to release a documentary about 94 Freaknik? Yes. 1994 Freaknik. Yes. They are about to release a documentary. So, I've been to several Freakniks. 94 was one that I attended. So I'm just praying that Jesus be a fence. I'm praying that Jesus just be a big, tall privacy fence. That's my prayer. This Easter, this Good Friday. That's my prayer. So, I will say this though. Like when they would bring out those video cameras and start recording, I immediately removed myself from the that situation. I never ever was okay with being recorded out there. So hopefully that worked to my benefit, but you never know. So the only thing I got is, if you see your girl in the documentary, hey man, at least I'm fully clothed. At least all my clothes is on. That's all I got. That's the best I got. But yeah, y'all, they about to put our business out in the street. Some of us might be on TV. So get your parental controls together. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
Oh, yes. A lot of people are worried about this documentary and them being put on blast on Hulu. Now, you have women that went out there doing the most in front of cameras. You got people's mama that was out there at Freaknik acting a plumb fool, but they telling their daughter what they shouldn't be doing. Boy, if some of them daughters see their mama on there, they mama can't say nothing to them. You got probably somebody's wife that married this woman at that other stage of her life. And then even if the dude don't watch it, you know how people are. They'll watch that on Hulu and say, man, I saw Lakeisha on that Freaknik documentary. What you talking about? Man, look, I'm going to send you that link. Go to timestamp 2015. And there she is, bruh. Oh, you didn't know. Did you know she went to Freaknik? Did you know she was doing all that? Now the dude say, yeah, she told me she had a pass or whatever. Okay, that's one thing. But if she came to him with that, I'm in the church, I'm in the mosque, and that's just been my life, and he didn't know about all her Freaknik days, oh, he gonna have a rude awakening coming if he see that on that Freaknik. Now, not only are the women should be nervous, and many of them are, because they're worried about what they was doing. Because let me tell you something, you know what you did at Freaknik, you know what you did, you know how you was busting it open. You know about the trains that was been ran on some of you. Let's call it what it is. That was going on at Freaknik. They had a picture recently, of course, I can't show it here, that showed up on Twitter of an Atlanta police officer, some female, had her clothes, her pants up, spreading everything in front of the cop. And the child of the woman that was on that picture said, could y'all please take this down? This is my mama. How embarrassing. Oh, that's embarrassing. Could you imagine the kids seeing their mama and their daddy acting a plumb fool back in the 90s? Now, let's take it to the other side of this, which some people may not be discussing, but we need to discuss. There were some dudes that showed up out there too. They were straight perverts. Straight perverts. Women couldn't even walk by them without them grabbing their butts, grabbing their breasts, trying to force them on themselves, the women. There were women that was violated at this thing. There was one incident that happened at the Freaknik where this one woman walked in the middle of these dudes, and these dudes literally ripped this woman's clothes off to the point that she had nothing on. And it got so bad that the city of Atlanta said, okay, enough is enough. We got to shut that down. But some of you dudes, and you know the today that we live in, you know what you did at Freaknik. You know what you did. Some of you that was grabbing on these women and they didn't want you to. Some of you were trying to rip off their clothing and they wasn't asking for none of that. Some of you probably got a good job right now in a company, maybe even a high-ranking job. Some of you may be a local politician. Some of you may be having some, and boy, when people see that documentary, I know you praying right now that you don't show up on that documentary. Now, you may not have nothing to worry about, but until that documentary come out, boy, you worried because you know the time period we live in. That come out, then now they about to Me Too you now because of video evidence that what you did. And you know how it is. If they try to get Bill Cosby from stuff that he did not even do way back 40, 50 years ago, you think they won't try to come after some of y'all for something that was about almost 30 years ago? You can do all that. I moved on. I'm not proud of that. And who'd say you are? But the fact is, you was out there being a perv. That's why I'm so glad that I don't have video out there that I can say, man, I hope that video never come out. And I'm going to tell you the next one, the documentary is going to come out. It's coming. Those of you down here in the Houston area, you know what I'm talking about. Same time in the 90s. What? The Kappa Beach Party. That's another one in Galveston. Every year going to the Kappa Beach Party. Everybody would go to Galveston. Even everybody in Port Arthur too. Port Arthur, Beaumont, everybody would be going to the Kappa Beach Party, and it was the same crap. Videotapes. Women out there doing the same thing like Freaknik. The Kappa Beach Party was like a Texas version of that, just about, until Galveston had to shut down the Kappa Beach Party too. They was out here wilding out and acting a fool. The only reason you didn't have more video of that coming out because they didn't have the internet like that back in the 90s. Actually, dial-up internet started, within the 90s, right? But you didn't have all the cell phones and all of that. You had to actually have a camcorder back then to record anything. Different time period. But this stuff will follow you. If you on tape, it's gonna follow you. So don't be embarrassed now, because you weren't embarrassed when you was doing it back then. There's the only thing I say about that. I always tell people, try to conduct yourself right in public. That way you don't have to answer for no kind of video. You don't have to look at your husband or your wife in the eye and tell them about what you were doing back in that time period. Especially when you presented something else to them. But yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. Hey, let's see. We will see. If they gonna spin it a certain way, or they gonna just be a documentary. But it's gonna be some darkness they're gonna show, because a lot of that stuff did go down. There was, a lot of not consensual things that was going down that happened to a lot of women that went out there, and it ruined their life in a lot of ways. Or they was carrying babies that they did not want for something that happened to them at the Freaknik. But y'all let me know what y'all think about, this situation. I think they should be concerned. The men and the women should be concerned. If you was out there doing some nefarious things. Now, some people say it's their past. I mean, well, okay. If it's your past, live your truth. But if you got some position that requires a certain type of, morality clause at your job, etc., yeah, you may have to be worried.